Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The situation and the evolution of avian influenza in China. This is a distribution map of different subtypes of AIVs in poultry in China. H9 and H5 are the most prevalent AIV subtypes in most provinces. But other subtypes can also be isolated from most of the provinces. So the avian influenza virus infection in China is very complicated. Before 1990s, influenza A viruses were only reported in wild waterfowl, not in poultry in China. H9N2, low pathogenic avian influenza, appeared first in 1992 in Guangdong, a southern province, with limited spreading in this province and to neighboring province for several years. But this virus increased its airborne transmissibility and caused the pandemic in 1998, spreading to most of the chicken farms over 20 provinces within several months. Thereafter, vaccination was implemented as one of the control strategies. It becomes endemic and acts as the gene donor for generating novel reassortant viruses. Asian H5N1 HPAIV first appeared in 1996, also in Guangdong province, in domestic geese. It spread to most of the poultry raising area after the 2003 to 2004 pandemic. A compulsory massive vaccination program in poultry in mainland China, supported by the government, has been implemented since 2004. The Asian H5N1 HPAIV has been endemic in poultry in many areas in China since then, and acts as a gene donor to generate novel reassortant AIV in poultry. Talking about the genetic evolution of H9N2 AIVs in China, these viruses evolved into more than 100 genotypes and are also reassorted with H5N1 viruses to generate more than 13 genotypes. Some of the H9N2 genotypes survive for a short time, and some of them persist for several years. But one special kind of genotype, we call it genotype S or G57, which appeared in 2007 and has become overwhelmingly dominant since 2010. This virus genotype, just in the red square here. So this special kind of genotype of H9N2 virus as the gene donor to generate novel reassortant viruses. Here is the slide shows you the novel reassortant AIVs emerged in poultry in China in recent years. First is the H7N9, which is spread to more than 18 provinces. It first appeared in 2013. And the second is the H10N8 virus, which appeared in 2010 in 3 provinces, Jiangxi, Hunan, and Guangdong. Both of these two viruses derived their HA gene, internal genes from the overwhelmingly dominant genotype H9N2 viruses. And also we have different NA type of the H5 viruses. Altogether, 4. All these H5 viruses derive their HA gene from Asian H5N1 virus. So the poultry in live poultry markets and the poultry farms in H9N2 and H5N1 endemic area acts as the mixing vessel for generating the novel AIVs. I will introduce you individual reassortant. The first is the generation and the genetic evolution of H7N9 AIVs. The HA gene from the H7N3 virus in domestic ducks, and then the NA gene from H10N9 circulating in chickens, and also deriving their internal genes, all six internal genes from the overwhelmingly dominant H9N2 viruses. So generate the novel H7N9 virus. And then the generation of novel H5NX. Now we have 4 different NA type of H5 viruses. All these viruses derive their HA gene from Asian H5N1 virus with different clades, HA clades. We have the clade 2.3.2.1, 2.3.4.4, and clade 7.2. But all the other genes derived from various subtypes of AIVs. The generation and the evolution of H10 and 8 AIVs start from the H10 and the N8 viruses in wild birds through H10N2, H3N8 in domestic duck, and then generate by reassortment to the H10N8 virus in the domestic duck. And this was transferred to chickens, and there reassort with H9N2 virus to get the internal genes to generate the novel H10N8 virus circulating in both and cause human disease. All these natural reassortant AIVs acquired the ability to bind the human type receptor, the alpha-2-6 linkage. This is of great public significance. Talking about the evolution of Asian H5N1 hemochromosome, I'd like to say the H5N1 HAG evolves very rapidly from 1996 to 2004. 10 clades evolved from clade 0 to clade 9. Some of the clades survived only for a short time. Some of these clades persist for several years. But some clades, especially clade 2, expanded to several orders of subclades, up now already to the 4th order of subclades. These two slides shows you the kinetic distribution of dominant clades of H5N1 AIVs in eastern China during 2000 to 2015. On the left, you can see from 2000 to 2006, the clade prevalence. Clade 0 is the dominant clade. And the matched vaccine strain is RE1. The second is the clade 2.3.4. The matched vaccine strain is RE5. During 2007 to 2009, the clade prevalence showed that clade 2.3.4 is the dominant one. And from 2010 to 2011, the clade prevalence showed that the clade 2.3.4 is the dominant one. And in the year 2012, the clade prevalence showed that the clade 2.3.1 is the prevalent. This one. Clade 2.3.2.1 is prevalent. The matched vaccine strain is RE6. Here in the year 2013, the dominant clade is clade 7.2, and the matched vaccine strain is RE7. And in the year 2014, the co-dominant of 2.3.2.1c and the clade 2.3.4.4. This clade, the second clade, just spread to many countries with H5N8, this clade. Now is the dominant, co-dominant of these two clades. So in the year of this year, the clade 2.3.2.1c is the dominant. And we don't have matched vaccine strain for these. So pay attention to the coexistence of three clades in the same year. The current dominant clade 2.3.2.1c without appropriate vaccine. This slide shows you the close HI titer against the anti-RE6 serum with the prevalent field strain, the dominant strain in, I showed you in last slide, is the clade 2.3.2.1c as the antigen. We can see from the last column the close HI titer, the difference between 5 to 7 HI titer in log 2. So the antigenic match is very important for vaccine development. Here, this slide shows you the vaccination and the evolution of AIV. In China, we have large-scale vaccination program for H9N2 since 1999. We have for H5N1 since 2004. Up to 2015, 100 billion doses of vaccine have been used. But the situation now is very complicated. We have a number of subtypes of avian influenza virus infection with distinct clades, sublineages, antigenic groups, genotypes, and novel viruses. Talking about the control strategy for avian influenza in poultry and a vaccination program, we should consider the following facts. For H9N2, the airborne transmissibility is very high, spreading fast, and HA antigenic drift for this virus is relatively slow. But for the H5N1 HPAI, the airborne transmissibility is very low, spreading slowly. The HA antigenic drift is very fast, much the vaccine always lags behind. So we have several lessons learned from the vaccination program for the control of H5N1 in poultry in China. First, for the H5N1 HPAI, the best control strategy is stamping out the outbreaks at the very beginning, at the early stage. Second, vaccination can raise the level of protective immunity, increase the resistance to infection, and reduce virus replication and shedding. But the vaccination alone cannot eradicate the disease and the virus. The kinetic nature of dominant clades each year and the coexistence of several clades in a region makes the control by the vaccine very difficult. I'd like to say here, these vaccine by conventional, usually they kill the vaccine. But as for the live vaccine, although some vector vaccine may be better, we are expected to the commercial company to develop this. And the last, the vaccination must be incorporated with other methods, such as biosecurity in farms, live bird market, the control of movement, quarantine, and stamping out policy. Thank you very much for your attention.